Hey, what's up? It's always me, Johnny, and welcome to my new video. So as you can see, I'm still not at my home and office, we can say, but I am still in Spain right now because we did like a little bit of a trip. So we went through Italy, Spain, then Portugal, and then again Spain, and in a week or so we're gonna be back in Italy, and so you're gonna see my office back. But in the meantime, I'm gonna record some video right here where I am. Anyway, that being said, this video we will talk about the WWDC of Apple, and I am a little bit late because I've seen a lot of videos already on YouTube of this WWDC recap, but I'm gonna say my opinion on this new event by Apple. So I did follow up the event yesterday, but I wasn't in time because here the internet is not the best, but I've seen the best part. As soon as I joined in the event, they were talking about the M2 processor from Apple. I mean, more like the SoC, not only processor, because it's a system on a chip. But they talked about other things too, and it was more of a software presentation more than an hardware presentation. So they did not presented a lot of products, but they did anyway. And in the first part, they talked about the new iOS 16, and I've seen a lot of new feature that I could like if I had an iPhone, but my experience with the iPhone 13 Pro Max wasn't the best. So for now, I'm not gonna buy an iPhone, but I hope for the next year they will do something about more on the hardware than the software, because the software it's kind of upgrading in my tastes, we can say, because I am more of an Android guy and I am very used to the customization and all of the other stuff that we have on Android. But anyway, I'm waiting for like a good iPhone, we can say, so like Type-C port, you know, those kind of things. We have to wait and see for the end of the year for this. But for now, they presented a lot of feature with the new iOS, and I liked the new lock screen customization and all of that new customization stuff. Very, very interesting actually. And one feature that I've liked, the new password as they called, because I think it's more secure and it's faster to have an access on some website, and it's very, very hard to break those passcodes, we can say, or passkeys as they called. And also, other than that, they talked about the new Apple Pay function and the Apple Pay Later function. I think it's very, very interesting because you can buy something at the moment and then pay it. They said it's working with everything, that it's working also with Apple Pay. Then other than that, we have the new CarPlay that integrates better with your car. But as I said, for now, I'm not in the iPhone world, so we will test those features maybe next year with the next iPhone. Then they talked about also of the other system, so the iPad OS and of course the watchOS and also the macOS, the new macOS. And of course, for me, the most interesting between these three OS, it's macOS because I have a Mac, and I've seen a lot of new feature, more interesting than the latest version. I am very curious to try the most interesting feature that we have right here. So it is called Stage Manager. So finally we can see all the windows open. It's kind of like the Windows window manager, we can say, but more of a Apple style. So as you can see, this style in the file management, because you can just stack files on files. It doesn't have that kind of a logic organization that you have on Windows, but it is kind of messy and artistic, we can say, also in this Stage Manager, and it could be very, very interesting. This feature is also available on iPad OS, that probably for iPad user could be interesting too, but I do not have an iPad, so I don't know about that, but I can see that it could be very, very useful. Other than that, there are some other new feature like the continuity camera, and because you can use like your iPhone as a webcam, or maybe new feature with Safari, but I am not using Safari at the moment, so I'm not very interested into that. Same thing for the mail. I'm not into the mail app on the macOS. Maybe I will try it sometimes in the future, but not right now. But also another interesting thing, it is the new Metal 3. So it's the API for the game part on the macOS. And maybe we can see a lot of news in the future, because we have seen some interesting games that runs on this new Metal 3 and the new API of Metal. And also we can see that on the presentation they had also the new Resident Evil, so the Resident Evil Village, that it's a very demanding game in my opinion. I mean, it's a AAA game on macOS, then runs natively, so it's a very good news for us gamers that want to play something on macOS. It's always a very good thing. That being said, let's skip to the very interesting part of this new presentation, and so the M2. It's like the new generation of Apple SoC, so it's like a little bit bigger than the M1, but it's still like a power efficient SoC, so it's like the M1, not the M1 Pro or maybe the M1 Max or M1 Ultra, so it's still made for the power efficient tasks, but it is more powerful than the M1, and it says that somehow it's like a lot more powerful than the M1. For the CPU power, they said that it has like 18% more power than the standard M1. Then of course they did some comparison against the new Intel chipset, so they said that there is like an improvement of power efficiency of 87%, because with the same power they can deliver a lot more of power, of course. And we have like 25% more power on the GPU compared to the older M1, because here you have like 8 core on the CPU, always 4 core for power efficiency and 4 cores on performance, but we have also 10 core on the CPU, so not anymore 8 core or maybe 7 core for the MacBook Air, but right here we have 8 core on CPU and 10 core on the GPU. I think this is all the version, because they presented the new MacBook Air, that seems like very interesting, and also they presented the new MacBook Pro, like the MacBook Pro of the last year with the M1. They could be very interesting. I don't know if they are right now only for the power, because they have, yes, a new screen, new set of speakers, so they should sound like very good. And also they have new camera, 1080p camera, but of course they bump up the price, because they fell in between the MacBook of last year with the M1 and also the M1 Pro MacBooks, because the exterior of the new laptops are similar to the MacBook Pro 14 inches, because I have it right here, so they are like this, very close to this design. I think they should be like thinner, so not thick like this, because the MacBook Air still doesn't have a fan inside, so it's really fanless. And then they presented also the MacBook Pro, as I said before, that has only one fan inside, so it should deliver like a little bit more of power. I didn't expect this MacBook Pro, because it does have the touch bar again, so I think they will keep the touch bar only for that MacBook Pro, so it's kind of a mix between the new MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro of 14 inches like this one. But also the design, it's similar, but they do have the MagSafe charger, but they do have only 2 USB-C ports. They just miss the other ports, so they miss the other 2 USB-C ports, and also they miss HDMI ports, and also they miss the SD card reader. And also they have a new charger that it is very interesting, because it can do fast charge also on the MacBook Air, that until now the MacBook Air didn't have any type of fast charge, but now it does have fast charge. And also the charger, so the brick that goes on the wall, it does have 2 USB-C ports, so maybe if you have an iPhone you can just connect both of the devices and you can charge it at the same time. So you have to bring just one charger, that it is very compact from the images, and it could be very useful if you are traveling like I am right now. Anyway, the prices will be, as I said, in between the older generation of MacBooks for the M1 MacBooks and between the new generation of 14 inches and 16 inches MacBook, because these are the Pro lineup, so the price is higher. But the MacBook Air will be like $1,200, and that should have like a discount for education, so a discount of $100 for education. And then the MacBook Pro should be like at around $1,300. And same thing here, you have like $100 of discount if you are using your laptop for education. And I don't know how these prices will be here in Europe, because I am in Europe, so there will be like much more than this. And in that case, I don't know if it's worth it to do the switch, or maybe if you have to buy one of these, maybe it's kind of better to buy the 14 inches MacBook Pro, because could be more powerful. We should wait these new MacBooks that will be available, I think, next month, but we should see some comparison between this new M2, and I am very curious to see the comparison with the M2 against the M1 Pro that I have right here, because I have the base model. I want to see how much difference there is between this model that I have right here against the new M2. I think still this one should be more powerful. I mean, this is the Pro lineup. I am very curious about this new SoC from Apple, because they are always very power efficient and very powerful. So very curious to see how they do against these new MacBooks. But as I said, I think it will be like more powerful, because they should release the new M2 Pro, M2 Max, M2 Ultra. So this one should be like still a little bit more powerful than the base model M2. In any case, I hope you did like this video. If that was the case, just hit a like button down below, because I mean, it's free. And also, what is free, it's subscribe to this channel down below. If you see the big red button, just to give a little bit of a help on this channel, it will be very much appreciated. That being said, thank you for watching this video as always, and I will see you in my next one. Bye for now. Oh, and let me know down below in the comments what do you think about this new M2, if it is more powerful than the M1 Pro, M1 Max, what you will choose between these new MacBooks and maybe a 14 inches MacBook. Let me know it down below in the comments. Bye.